This is the most addicting trick in songwriting. Why? Because it works really well. It's writing your songs backwards, but it's not as easy as you think. Let me explain. You don't start a great story without knowing how it ends. Think about any good movie you've seen. The ending is what hits you. It's the reveal, the twist, the emotional payoff. And the best movies, they're built backwards from that moment. They know the destination, so every scene before that is to set up the ending. And that's what we're doing here. We're not just building loops, we're telling stories. And if you know the climax to your song, you can actually write something that takes the listener there. That's why this works. Now let's pause for a second because this is the most important part. You will not be able to write your songs backwards if you don't approach it a specific way. So you open up the DAW and you're staring at a blank canvas. The first thing you need to do is change your mindset. From here on out, forever, you are sitting down to write a song and not just an idea. I'm going to repeat that. You are sitting down to write a song and not just an idea. An idea is one small part of a song. It's an 8-bar loop, but that's not enough. Think about your favorite songs. They all consist of more than one idea. This could be verse and chorus, or with electronic music, we use break and drop. So for you to write great songs and tell great stories, you have to make sure you're writing enough. Ideally, you should be writing a break and drop simultaneously in the same session. You're kind of limiting yourself if you're only writing in an 8-bar loop and then trying to stretch that into a full song. By the way, if this sounds like you, here's the best part. If you can write an 8-bar loop, awesome. Just write 2 of them. Now you have break and drop. You can have these multiple scenes which tells a better story. And keep in mind, you don't have to finish the writing of these 2 ideas in that first session either. They can be developed later. Think of this as the first rough draft. It's the skeleton of your ideas. Because once you do have those 2 or even 3 sections, now comes the fun part. You can start telling the story backwards. Here's a song I'm working on right now. It's not finished, but I think it could be a really good example of this concept. And keep in mind, if you don't make the music I make, that's okay. It's expected. This concept of building a song backwards works for any genre. I'm going to show you the 2 main sections I wrote first. It was my break idea and this drop idea. And here's a tip. When you sit down to write a drop, let's say, try and envision that final drop, that biggest moment of the song, not the first drop. Let me show you what I have. Now, when it comes to structuring these ideas out over time to tell a story, focus on the peak mountaintop first. This is going to be the second half of your song. So if I know that my final drop is going to be roughly this idea I have here, my goal is to take that listener to that moment, but I need it to still satisfy. So you'll notice if we jump to the first section, what I actually have here, it's similar, but it's not quite the same. And that's because I don't want to give away my final drop, that moment, earlier in the song, because then I'd have nothing left to wow you in the end. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like when you know you have to make that final drop bigger or better, you have to add something to make it better than the first. If you struggle with that, I am literally going to fix that problem for you right now, but you need to make a deal with me. If and when I fix this for you, you have to hit the thumbs up. Deal? All right. Who said you need to add something for the final drop? What happens if we just build that first and instead subtract from it to make the first drop? Isn't that easier? So let's play a little game. I'm going to press play, and I want to see if you can notice the handful of tricks I used to make the first drop a lesser version of my final one. Listen carefully. Okay, so the vocals, they were almost non-existent first time around. But if you did catch I had them filter down in this one part, sort of previewing what might come in the future. Then my bass line is only playing the root note in the first drop, but in the final drop it starts to change and follow the progression. I'm also automating the filter cutoff to start out really low in the first drop so it's more muffled, and then in the final drop I open that up so it's bigger. Next, notice I'm not using all my drums right away. I continue to add them as the arrangement goes on, and even more particular, I saved probably the best, most colorful layer, this tonal one, for the final drop to make it stand out. This allows my drums to develop just like I'm doing with my instruments. So next, let's talk about our approach for the breakdown. But before we do, I want to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of this video, Moose. He actually gave me an ad read, like a script for this, so I'm gonna read it on my phone here for you. Moose is awesome. He's so great. He's so much better than his aging and balding owner, Zach. Moose also wants you to know that Cosmic Academy is accepting applications for their upcoming boot camps. You can work directly with this cheap Vin Diesel lookalike and Uncle Justin to improve your music and brand. They're actually pretty good at what they do. Cosmic Academy even just became the academic partner of Insomniac and Discovery Project. As cool as they are, Moose is cooler. Long live Moose. Apply to work with them below. The end. All right, now that Moose derailed this video, let's bring our focus back to the breakdown. The goal of this break is simple. It is to prepare the listener and set them up for my final drop. I need this break and build to create enough tension so that my final drop is the release. And contrast here is everything. If I know my drop is going to be kick, bass, and all of these drums, I'm gonna try and give you the complete opposite feeling in my breakdown. Because if my break shares too many of the same characteristics, then how would my drop stand out and feel any better? It wouldn't, it would be the same thing. So the trick here is I'm going to give you the opposite. Watch as I play through my break. We have some familiar characters like the vocal and some of the synth stabs and swells, but the feeling is completely opposite. It's spacious, it's almost empty at times, and then we're gonna build back to the moment when kick, bass, drums, everything comes back to the front of the mix. So, how can you apply this in your current workflow? I want you to write the same way you've always been writing, but be intentional. Sit down to write songs. Minimum break and drop together simultaneously. Once you have the multiple ideas, start arranging them out over time. Tell your story, and then build backwards. Take the listener to that moment. Look, you are in full control over your song and story. And writing backwards is the easiest way to do this. It's the easiest way to tell amazing stories.